Discussions between the College Football Playoff Committee and the conferences could draw a bigger contrast between the Big Ten and the SEC, creating a clear chasm between the Big Two conferences and everybody else. While a lot of current discussion within the College Football Playoff Committee revolves around how many automatic bids or buys go to the Big Ten, SEC, and the rest of the teams in the eventual 14-team playoff, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the money distribution that is going to happen at the proposed new deal that is going to come out of ESPN and the College Football Playoff through 2031. You see, as it stands, the current College Football Playoff television revenue deal is about $460 million, and 80% of that is allocated essentially evenly among the four major conferences. Now, proposed distribution of this new deal would give the SEC and the Big Ten approximately 58% of that, and then the later 31% would be allocated between the ACC and the Big 12. Of course, that makes up about 90%. The rest of it would go to Notre Dame in the group of five. If you'd rather talk real numbers, the Big Ten and SEC would make approximately $760 million combined versus just $440 million for the ACC and Big 12, which means that the group of five and Notre Dame get approximately $115 million. All these numbers come from when factoring in ESPN's proposed new television rights deal, which total $1.3 billion. And only approximately $100 million of that will go towards participation, meaning that the vast majority of this new television deal will already be allocated to the schools themselves. So say, for instance, Georgia participates in the College Football Playoff. It's only going to get a small bump for being a participant and advancing in the playoff than, say, Vanderbilt, who may not even participate at all. According to Yahoo Sports' Ross Dillinger, that bonus for advancing in the playoff is only between $3 to $5 million. Really not a lot when talking about the grand scheme of the deal itself. Now, according to Dillinger, the breakdown between conferences, I'll put it right here, it's kind of easier to follow. You see the SEC clearly on top, and then the Big Ten, and then there's a clear gap between the rest. Reportedly, this includes a look-in provision for 2028, but that provision could be triggered if there's any sort of realignment that happens before that. So say Florida State actually finds a new conference in 2026, this deal can be looked at again, and they can allocate things a little bit differently depending on where Florida State goes. Again, this is all made possible because of ESPN's new extension for the College Football Playoff that runs through 2031. Now, that's opposing a 12-team playoff right up until 2026, when the field, supposedly right now, expands to 14.